안녕하세요. 저는 럭키입니다, and welcome to Idol Imagery. I am your host, Locky, and this is pretty much the third episode that we are doing of Idol Imagery, but the first time that I've actually started calling it this. I thought Photographer Reacts was a little bit too stale, so decided to name it something that was perhaps a little bit more catchy and eventually will catch on over time, hoping. But I'm really excited because today we are going to be finishing off the third and final part of LOONA's version A, B, and C series concept photos for their upcoming comeback. Now, we are going to be finishing off with Chuu, with Kwon, with Eve, and then also with Olivia. And I'm really pumped because there's once again some absolutely amazing photos in this bunch, and I'm really excited to obviously share with you guys what I think. That being said, I do just want to say one thing before I do begin, and that is that, of course, we've got a little bit of a new layout, so I'm actually going to show you over here in like real time as I'm looking at the photos basically what I'm talking about, because like I can zoom in on, you know, things, I can talk about them with you, I can show you where I'm pointing and what I mean, and then also on top of that I will still have the panels and all of that type of stuff, but I'll put them up at the very beginning of whenever I'm talking about a certain member. So basically, one other thing as well is I've taken issue with pretty much the version A photos from here onwards. I don't have anything particularly against them, but I noticed this when we were doing Jinso really quickly in the previous video, and they're really starting to get quite blown out, and one of you guys actually mentioned this in one of my previous videos, and this is something I kind of caught on to, and that is that, like, you know, there's a large amount of like overexposure on these beginning photos, one that's like particularly prominent with Kwon here, as we can see. So what I've actually done is I've gone and edited the version A's myself, so I've kind of regraded them, tweaked a little bit like in terms of like the exposure, the highlights, and all of that type of stuff, and kind of showing you how I would personally grade them. I do understand the stylistic choice though, and that like the kind of more blown out, washed out look is definitely like the aesthetic that we're going for with this, but I do definitely think that some of the version A photos could be a little better just in terms of showcasing the detail with some members, and of course showing their color a lot better too. But anyway, we are going to get started with Chuu's version A, and as you can see here, this is actually probably one of my favorites out of this set of 4 that we're going to be doing this afternoon, purely just because I honestly can't really find anything wrong with it. The only thing that I really take issue with in this photo is just rather the dress. I personally don't care for it too much. This mesh kind of reminds me almost of like something that you would see on like the side of a military truck or like a tent or something like that. It's just not really my style personally, but I do love the fact that she's got, you know, quite the contrast going on. Like we've got this white type of like, sorry, not the white, you've got like this black grayish type of like belt which covers pretty much the majority of her midriff here, and then of course she's wearing all white, she's got the white boots on as well, and then we've got kind of like, I guess you could call this like a peach type of background. She's got she's got this little bit of like a green, it's like a green slash blue hue. Also, I'm just double checking my other monitor because like the colors are a little different on these monitors, but she's got like a green slash blue kind of hue that's actually in these highlights here. So it looks fine. I'm not sure if it works here though, personally. I'm not entirely sure if it works. She kind of has like a glow about her as a result, but it's like a bluish kind of green glow, but nonetheless I think that it works. It's okay, it passes, at least for me anyway. I love her outfit here though. Like I love the pearl necklace she's got on, the earrings to match, and like honestly it's Chuu. She can honestly just sit down, look at the camera, and she's good. Honestly, she is so cute, she's so adorable, and she's very visually striking as well. Like if we zoom in a little bit more and we just look at like her eyes, just the shape of her eyes, but also like the way that the light catches, I would want to say that's like her actual iris, like her actual eye color, but I'm not entirely sure if it is contacts because idols do wear contacts quite often, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. I love the kiss marks here though. I really vibe that. I think it's a really nice stylistic touch to her. It's very simple, but it's also very obvious. We've noticed some smaller things on other members, like flakes or, you know, things on their face or winged eyeliner or something. But for Chuu, it's very simple, very straightforward. And I feel like that actually really makes this image pop, honestly. Like if we zoom out, the first thing you see, of course, is this white dress. But then for me, I see the lipstick marks and her lips here as well. Once again, we seem to be on an angle, like the backdrop is on an angle, but she is sitting straight. So, I mean, it kind of works out. The compositions are, from what I've seen, a little odd with BBC. BBC's compositions are very odd, especially when you could just take a normal photo. But then again, I think they're trying to obviously just kind of go for something different, something a little bit edgier. But if we move on, we've actually got my edit then of Chuu. Now, there's not really too much here that's all that noticeable. When you kind of flick between the two, all I've really gone and done is kept the contrast the same, but gone ahead and actually like darkened this belt a little bit here. And I've also kind of modified her skin tones and also this backdrop to look a little bit more peachy as well. So if we kind of like flick between the two of them here, there's not really that much of a difference, but you can kind of see that I've kind of just, I guess you could say, made it a little bit darker and maybe refined at least the light on her face, I would say. Not that it was bad to begin with, but I feel like here you can probably spot her lipstick a little bit better and also these kiss marks on her face. I did go ahead and also edit the hue just for this background, just because I thought that the other one was, I would say, like a little too light for me, so I just changed it a little bit. But nonetheless, I actually think that personally I didn't really have to do too much to this one. I just kind of played around with the sliders a little bit in Adobe Lightroom, and yeah, it's pretty damn good. This is actually probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite, out of this entire set, just in terms of like where the color is at already, so the technical aspects there. Also, I just love the fact that, you know, we've just got Chuu sitting down. It's not a crazy pose or anything like that, but she absolutely kills it. Now, if we move on to Chuu's second set, so the B version, I love this. I absolutely freaking love this. One, it's a close-up, so it's very similar to Heejin's, because Heejin's was also quite close as well. But I love how we can see so much of this outfit here still, even though it is a close-up, whereas I don't think that we could see really any of Heejin's when she was wearing hers. But we can also see down here, we've got like this bedazzled sparkling type section as well, which I really like. We see a little bit of the color on her nails, like a little bit of that tint, and I quite like that as well. I feel like that was included or at least cropped. I'm not entirely sure if they do cropped or if they do crop their images or anything afterwards, but I feel like this was included just as like a little bit of a touch, so that she didn't just have clear nails here. Also, I think that like as we zoom in, as we look a little bit closer, you can also tell the quality of this camera is absolutely incredible. So I'm really curious to actually know what type of camera they regularly use, especially, and whether or not they cycle amongst several, or whether or not they use the same model and just different lenses literally all the time. Sony, Canon, and Nikon are obviously, I would think, at least at the moment, some of the most popular ones for this type of shooting. Fujifilm as well, honestly, but I would be interested to see. Anyway, enough about that. I love these little gold flakes that you can see under her eyes here, and I hope that you guys can see those as well. You've got like these 3 little dots, and I do appreciate that they're actually quite easy to spot when you are looking at this here, and that's why I appreciate the close-up anyway. I love as well how, at least on this angle, Chuu's left eye kind of like almost rolls in towards her nose a little bit more. It makes her look really cute, you know, like we can't see any of the whites just here, like any of the whites of her eyes. So I don't know, it's just a really cute pose. I really like the angle. On top of that as well, the bangs in front of her forehead, I mean, I like it. I think it's how could I say, I'd love to be able to see the top of her head. I think I'd love to be able to see the top of her head, because I mean, it leads up to something, but we don't quite get what. So it's a little mysterious in that way, but I feel like we should see a little bit more of her hair here. I mean, if you're going to put bangs in her face and, you know, you're going to, you know, distribute them like that, they could at least show a little bit more of her head. But nonetheless, I still really like it. I love her eye makeup. You know, it's obviously really simple. It's really, it's really straightforward. But the thing is like with Chuu, You don't need to overdo it. You don't need to like, you know, go crazy with her. She is absolutely so gorgeous naturally. Every single member of LOONA is, but I feel like Chuu has just got such a beautiful face and such beautiful features that, you know, only the smallest details really need to accentuate and bring that out even further. So I really do enjoy this shot as well. The second, the B series, the B version, has always been really good in that regard. And then of course, if we move on to the third one, I actually quite like this as well. It's definitely not my favorite out of all of them that I've seen so far, including LOONA 1/3 and OEC. But I think that is rather just because one, we've got the angle again, like the diagonal shot, but also like the pose is pretty straightforward. Her poses this comeback have been pretty straightforward, at least so far. I know that we do still have the D version to go, and I'm really excited to look at that with you guys. But yeah, really here she's just kind of like got her hand very lightly clasped around her neck. The outfit, we can't really see too much of it here, and she is hiding that pendant here behind her arms, but that's a-okay because it kind of compensate for it with this big jewel in this ring, which I quite like as well. Once again, actually, just speaking on her eyes really quickly, I really love how, like, I love the shape of her eyes. Like, what would you call that? Would you call that like an almond shape, or almost like a cat shaped eyes? She's got gorgeous eyes, like absolutely beautiful. And I love like how this one kind of rolls in a little bit. I really like it. I think it's really cute. I love that obviously we can see more of her head here, so of course the bangs look really cute. The background, not really too much to it. The mist I quite like as well, and the color grading pretty much as we've seen with the rest of the C version concept teasers, pretty much, yeah, you've got like these blues, these greens, they look quite nice. I do like the color scheme for this one quite a lot, so I do enjoy Chuu's photos. If I had to choose one that I did enjoy out of all of them though, I would definitely probably have to say that's actually pretty hard. I mean, I would want to say this one because it's really cute. I love her eyes in this one, but then again, I also love her eyes in the C version pictures. With version number 1, it's cute. It suits her. I'll come back to you guys. I'll come back to you guys at the very end and see whether or not I can actually decide between any of them, because I just realized that there's something that I like about each of them and I can't discern which one kind of like goes up to the top from there for me. But anyway, we'll move on to Kowon. Now with Kowon's very first set, I have to say I'm not really a fan of how overexposed and how bright her face is. I feel like it actually blows out her skin tone quite a fair bit as well. Like it makes her look very, like it's very bright. Also on top of that, I'm not sure if you guys can actually pick this here as well, but she's got like this blue wing here on either side of her eyes, and also her eyes look absolutely amazing, by the way. I love these earrings too, they're really cool. You know, like we can't really see that, like when you zoom out a little bit, you can, I mean, very just faintly see it. It's not that prominent, and I feel like those types of accents, I mean, should be at least noticeable when you're taking a photo like this, especially if you are at least going to put them on the model anyway. I love her jawline. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's perfect. And she's got such pretty lips as well. I really like that. We're obviously having a little bit more of prop interaction here as well, which I enjoy too. Of course, we don't really see too much of that throughout these A version concept photos so far, but I do actually quite like it. Even if we're just holding what is like either a glass ball or a marble, I think it looks quite nice. Her color in the background is absolutely gorgeous. I really do love this blue, and I do like at least that there's quite a lot of it in the photo and that it's not minimal. Like, I mean, we've still got, you know, like a considerable amount of the photo, like this lower third taken up by this table, and then we've got like this almost full right half of the photo is taken up by her. So we've got about like we've got about half of the photo in total is taken up by her, and of course this table, like the set and whatnot. But I do like the fact that we do still get quite a decent amount of blue here, and then of course it has this gradient type feel to it where it's lighter up here and then it gets darker as we move towards the top right corner. That being said, I edited this one once again. This one is a little bit more obvious than Chuu's edit though, so we go obviously over to this. So I'll flick back between BBC's and then mine. So we've got BBC's and then mine, BBC's and then mine. So what I tried to do personally is try and bring out her skin tone a little bit more, or at least shift it away from being as white and bright as much as I possibly could. I feel like doing that and obviously lessening the highlights, so lessening the whites and the brighter parts of her face, darkening them a little bit, just kind of toning them down, does actually make this blue flake stand out a little bit more. I feel like it's easier to see, at least at a distance. That being said, it is still quite light, so I'm definitely not just going to say like, oh yeah, you know, it's just because of the light. It is still quite light, but that's probably rather just owing to the color. I personally like the color of her skin tone here a little bit more as well. It's probably more orange and pink, I would say, than this photo is, but that's because this one is pretty much purely white, and there's also like that hint of there's also that like tint of green in there again as well, which is kind of the same type of color grade that they've been going with for all of these version A teasers. Other than that, I really didn't do anything else. It was pretty much just a regrade, but let me know which one you guys like better. Do you like the regrade or do you like BBC's original one? Promise, no offense to me whatsoever, but personally I like this one a little bit more. Now with Kowon's second set, I actually didn't really look at this one too much. I probably skipped over Kowon's second set and Eve's second set quite a lot before I actually wound up getting to this video, but I actually quite like this. She looks very, very regal, I think I would say. Like, she's got this beautiful like princess-like quality to her here, and I love the fact that we've got so many different colors here on display, and they look so balanced as well. Like, we've got the whites here, we've got an even amount of gold, and then we've even got some traces of like this gold glitter that's kind of shimmering on this, I guess you could say, is it transparent? I think it's, yeah, so it's like this kind of like semi-transparent material that she's also got as a part of that dress or that gown or that shirt, whatever it is. And I love that. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. It looks so goddamn pretty, and it suits her so goddamn well too. On top of that, like I said, absolutely gorgeous eyes. She's so beautiful. And I think that even just like having her head tilted just a little bit makes this photo, like, she's looking down, but she's kind of looking down at you. It's quite inquisitive almost in a way. Like, I guess, yeah, I don't really know how to explain what exactly it is that I mean, but I basically just like her facial expression. I like the angle that her head is tilted at as well. I love her earrings. I think that they are quite nice, and I do like the fact that they droop quite a lot as well. And obviously down here, as we can see, we've got a braid, and then here, if I zoom in just a little bit more as well, we've got like these bedazzled sparkles that we see pretty much on all of these B version photos. But I love like these clips in her braids as well. They really fit pretty much the rest of the golds very, very, very well, and also match her earrings too. Once again though, as well, as far as the composition and the backdrop is concerned, we don't have that wall or that thing that we're leaning on anymore, which I really like. Actually, I love that we're just using more of the white background to just, you know, make the members pop and stand out against it. Yeah, I would definitely have to say that this is probably one of my favorite version, my favorite B version ones as well. Now, moving on to the third photo. Once again, we freaking love angles, but that's a-okay. Look, I really, really like this one. I think that, once again, like, I could talk about her facial features literally all day, but I'll stop there purely just because I think I've said all that I need to say about Kowon and how beautiful I think she is. But basically, the outfit I really, really enjoy from what we can see of it so far. Like, we've still got this plaid type shirt. We've got like a strap and a buckle that's here, which I think complements this collar quite nicely. And speaking of this collar, I think it looks freaking dope. It looks awesome, honestly. I don't really know basically like what it is per se, but it looks gothic, it looks cool. It's like, are these like gemstones that are attached to it? Like, are they gemstones with the chains connected at the same time as well? I don't really know, but it looks freaking sick, and I love how it matches her earrings as well. I really do love as well how her lips pop in this photo. I love the lipstick and the shade that they've used, and also just the fact that she's got such like it's like a very faint but very beautiful orange type eyeshadow tinge that she's got up here too. I feel like it complements her hair very well, and both of those colors complement her lips really well too, which on top of the fact that we've got like that green/blue type tinge color grade to this photo, stands out really well against like this black misty background. So I really freaking like this. This is definitely, I would say, be in my top 5 so far in terms of the C version that we've seen as well, and I really liked Colin's photos. As far as they are concerned, I would actually have to say that I like version B probably the most, just because I think that the balance between all of these colors is just gorgeous. It's really beautiful. But let me know what you guys think down below as well. Now, as we get to Eve, Eve is absolutely amazing in this photo. She looks gorgeous. Like, there's so much going on here. We've got so much to really talk about, but I won't talk about absolutely everything. I would have to say, once again, this is one of those photos that I did wind up editing myself as well, just because I thought, oh, I could do a little bit with this anyway. I quite like her outfit. I think it's very nice. It's very colorful. The boots at first, when I first saw them, I was like, oh, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about them, just because, as you can see here, like, they kind of make the shape of her legs disappear towards her ankles, if that makes sense, but it's rather just because of like this black fabric wrapping around it, so you can't really see them quite well. But then once you are able to actually start differentiating them from the color of her dress, it makes a lot more sense, and we can see that in the group photo as well a little bit later on. I love how she's actually holding this part of her dress, and that it's not just kind of like fallen behind her or something like that. It's definitely showing it off a hell of a lot more as well, and it gives her a little bit more volume, just because this dress does sit pretty flat on her. Like, it's just really soft material that just kind of drapes over her, and I really like the fact that she's at least picked it up. It adds a little bit more to the photo. I love as well the pastel type colors that we're going for here too. It's not quite pastel, but it's very close to it, so I really vibe that. The maroon in the background is quite how could I say, quite desaturated, I would say. Like, it's like borderline leaning towards brown in a way. Like, you could start taking it towards brown. It's quite dark and desaturated, so I did change that as well. The lamp and the pedestal that the lamp is on, I like at least how she's using it once again. She's got absolutely gorgeous facial features, as we can see as we move in a little bit more. These earrings are quite interesting. Like, when I first saw them here, they kind of reminded me a little bit of like paper clips, like in a chain, but I really vibe them. I think that they look quite nice as well. And Eve, I'm not entirely sure if you guys can see too well either, but she's got some more like glitter and stuff above her eyes and under her eyes as well, which really make them shine too. So I absolutely love that. Only thing is, we can't really see too much of her hair. We can kind of just see the fact that it's definitely pulled behind her head, but nonetheless, let's move in to my edit, which is a little bit different. So a little bit different in terms of the coloring, as you can see straight away. I'll just flick back between the two of them really quickly, and you guys can pretty much decide on which one you like. So BBC, mine, BBC, mine. Now, if we're gonna go for like a maroon color, I feel like personally for me, it needs to be like a deep maroon. It needs to be a really rich type color. Like, when I see maroon, or burgundy should I say, it needs to be deep, and personally I like it like that. I don't necessarily like how it's more I guess you could say that this is more orange, if that makes sense. It's sliding more towards orange, and I don't really like that, especially not with the desaturated and kind of flatter look. But what we've done here is that we've obviously made that color a little bit darker, so she definitely pops against it a lot more as well. We didn't really do anything to these colors that she's wearing, because they already absolutely look amazing. Same thing with her boots as well. The other main thing I did though was just basically change the light on her face, and just made it a little bit softer, so that it's not so It's not so bright. Basically, you can see the difference there. There's not really too much of a difference, and it's not really like it's a very easy look to pick as well. I know that my zooming skills on Photoshop are not very good, but yeah, basically I just changed the light and changed the color of the backdrop as well. I just amplified it there. Also, I did move her lip color a little bit closer to like a darker orange and a burgundy, rather than this one just kind of being exactly the same as the background as well. Anyway, that was Eve's first one, her first photo. Personally, I once again don't want to like say anything or like just plug myself, but personally I like this edit more. I like this one a lot more. I feel like it really gives this photo a lot more in terms of character. It's still got that lower contrast type look as well, but it's definitely got a little bit more of a punch in the background color anyway too. So I really like her scene one photo, and at least I think that it's quite nice how she's interacting with the props and everything in the image as well. The angle doesn't bother me too much, but it was mainly just the colors and of course the lighting. If we move on to her second one, then damn, here we go. Eve is gorgeous. Like, she is an absolute freaking angel. I don't even know how to like... Yeah, I don't even really know where to start with her. Like, she's absolutely beautiful. You know, she's so soft here. It's so beautiful. It's so like just light and soft. I love these whites and almost how like, I think you can kind of see as well, there's like this bit of like a glow just around these whites, like on her shoulder straps and stuff like that. So I absolutely love that. Her hair looks, it's almost a little bit misty, isn't it? You know, like it almost seems like it's a little bit misty here too, because a lot of this is just so soft. Everything looks so soft. It's like she's come out of like a, I don't know, like a laundry detergent commercial, like, you know, for like fabric softener or something like that. It looks absolutely beautiful. Her eyes, so striking. I love the flakes once again. So we've got the 3 gold flakes here, and then we've got a little bit actually tracing the line of her eyelid here, which I really quite like. Although we can't see anything on the other side, I like that we've got it on this side, and it doesn't necessarily even need to be symmetrical. It actually just makes it a little bit more special. I love her facial features and this little spot that she's got here. I don't think that I've ever noticed that before, actually. Oh yeah, she does have it. She's got one right here. Okay. Yeah, I've never noticed that before, actually. I really like it. It's quite endearing. And I love, at least, just her pose too. Like, it's very simple, very straightforward, but it really, I feel, covers the image a lot more. Like, if she just had her arm by her side, it would seem a little bit too vacant, especially with all of this negative white space around her. But I love how she's filled this frame, and of course how it's pretty much like she's looking directly at the camera and her eyes are pretty much exactly where they need to be. Even if it was like a full-on like front-facing shot, I think it would look great, but I really love this angle. I absolutely adore it. Although I do definitely have to say as well, one thing that I've noticed that is way different to everyone else is that she's not wearing the same outfit. So I'm interested to see if there's a story behind that, or if there's a reason behind that, and if so, what it is. Now, if we move on to her third one, this easily is like one of my favorites so far. Easily, and I'm not even just talking about version C, I'm talking about just period. It's one of my favorites, and it's because she looks so fucking badass. Like, she looks so goddamn badass. First off, if we're just talking about like the composition of this entire photo, is there much here? No. But is there also a lot here? Yes, there is. Now, we don't have a whole lot going on in the background. Like, we can't see those crazy rocks or the stream or the sand or anything, but what we do get down here is a rock. The way she's utilizing it is absolutely perfect. She's got these massive, tall, like almost knee-high combat boots on, which looks so fucking sick. To begin with, they look absolutely amazing. Then she's literally just leaning on it. She's leaning and looking at you, and she's like, what? Now, I absolutely freaking love how she's got her arms kind of crossed over both of them, and of course the fact that, like, I don't know, she's just holding herself. She's holding herself so strongly, but her arm just like so so like graciously drapes over her leg, so I really like that. On top of that, we've got the mist both in the background and of course in the foreground in front of her here too, which really adds like that element of mystery, but also like this impending battle type vibe to it, so I really like that. We've got once again this plaid type outfit here as well, but half of it seems to be like a longer skirt. It almost looks like I think, what are these called? It's almost like the frills here as well are like a how can I put it? It's like a warrior skirt, if that makes sense as well. She looks a lot like a warrior here, which I quite like. I really like. We've obviously got the straps off the shoulders, which I love too. I think that that's very like it's very loose. It's very like carefree, which I vibe. And then of course we've got the color of the straps matching this like I guess you could call this like what, a glovelet. It's not like a full glove it looks to be, but then again we can't see absolutely everything, so I can't say for sure. But I love the glove and I love the ring on the glove too. I do really like as well her hair here. I mean, of course, we can talk about her facial expressions for days, but I think that on top of that, I love her hair and how it flows. Like we've got the inside, obviously, just straight down. I love the way it cuts down too. And then, of course, how you've got like her fringe and it just flows right over it. And I think it looks absolutely beautiful. So this is just like, this is beauty, passion, fierceness, and just bad bitch vibes literally all day, and I love this photo. This is definitely one of my favorites, just out of the entirety of all of the concept photos that we have seen so far. Eve absolutely freaking nailed this. Now, when we move on to Liv. Once again, I did edit scene 1, but that's okay. I'll show you what my edit looks like in just a second. I really quite like this one, actually, initially, and then I did start thinking perhaps she looks a little bit bright too, like, you know, of course, just in terms of like just her face and what we've got, especially around the center of her face here. Plus, I do think the backdrop, at least seeing what the color looks like here, seeing the fact that it basically just kind of fades away to almost like a gray as well, I thought maybe it would be interesting to change. I do like how there's pretty minimal props here though, and she seems to be using it quite well. She's got the finger in the hand in front of the mouth, which I think is a very girl crush type position, which I really like. So I love the fact that Liv, you know, really emphasizes and plays to that strength quite a lot here too, especially when she's got this type of smile, like this type of grin, you know, like when she shows, like when she shows not only like her upper lip, but like also her front teeth as well. I feel like she just really exudes this bad girl type energy, and I really like it. It's so goddamn cool, and it's really cute too, honestly. She's got absolutely gorgeous eyes. I love the color of her eyes. I love the shape of her eyes and the size of them too. I think that they look incredible. The outfit, personally, doesn't really do anything for me. I don't really like this part, like this, what could you call that? Yeah, I don't really like this part, personally, if I'm being very honest. It's just, it kind of looks like it doesn't fit, but one thing it does have going for it, I guess, is that it matches up with the line of her leg, and we can't see quite all of her legs, so I do like it in that regard, but I just don't know how I feel about the dress just in general, but that's a-okay, because that's not really that important. She's got her arm surrounding the dog, which I quite like as well, which is funnily enough anyway, because I mean, she is a wolf herself, so at least this seems to be connected or related to lore in some way, shape or form. But yeah, other than that, it's relatively straightforward. I do like it. There's some things that I don't like about it though, so I did actually go and edit myself anyway, and basically this is what we came up with after we edited. So I'll go back between the two again just so you can see. So we've got version number 1. She looks, I mean, personally the lighting here is honestly not that bad. I think I'm rather just nitpicking here instead, but I did just want to change it anyway and see whether or not I could bring out a little bit more of her skin tone. So that's what we've got here. So we've got BBC, mine, BBC, mine, BBC, mine. Now what we can see here is, of course, we can see more blue, more of this kind of lighter navy blue color, which we've got down here as well. Her skin tones seem a little more natural here, at least anyway, so a little more, I guess you could say towards the pink and the orange, but very, very lightly. I didn't try and overdo it too much there. I love at least how her lips pop here a hell of a lot more anyway as well. Like, they were soft here. They were soft, and I really liked that. I liked the color anyway, but then as you can see, they pop a lot more here too, and I feel like the edges of her eyes do also as well. So I did like, once again, the way that I edited it to be a little bit better. It could be a little softer though on my edit, because I do quite like how soft she does look here, but I think that the stronger colors suit this image a little bit better. I still don't like the dress. I'm sorry, but anyway, we're gonna move on to number 2. Now, number 2, I actually hadn't really looked at this too much either. The only thing I'm a little unsure of, first and foremost, is just the pose and whether or not I really like it. I mean, then again, what else could you really do when there's not too much to interact with? It makes perfect sense, honestly. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this type of pose just in general, but I feel like she's doing it well anyway. I think that's rather just my personal taste. There's no like technical faults or anything wrong with it, or anything that I have against it. I don't feel like it makes her look bad or the image look bad. It's just probably not a pose that I would choose. But anyway, I think that she looks absolutely beautiful as per usual, and once again, this smile where she shows her teeth and just the way her lips arch up, I absolutely love. I think that it's one of her key points, and I think it makes her look absolutely gorgeous. Once again, we've got like these bedazzled sparkles once again, which I really love that we always consistently keep getting shown on the B version teasers as well. And I do actually quite like the dress as well. It looks very royal in a way too. We've not only got like the bedazzlement around the bust area, but also around her waist, and even the way that they both connect here too, I really quite like. It almost looks like it tapers off into like a pencil skirt type look here too, so I do quite vibe that. Once again, it's soft. I feel like one thing this photo could use is a little bit of that mist, especially around maybe this area. Like, we don't necessarily need to see this much of her skirt, if that makes sense. Like, we don't necessarily need to see it, so having a little bit of that mist here, I feel like would just amplify this photo a little bit more. But nonetheless, that's just me nitpicking. I do like the Scene 2 one, but it's definitely not my favorite so far out of all of the Scene 2, the B version teasers so far that have been released, rather should I say. And if we move on to the third one I actually really like. This is really dope. I really like this for multiple reasons. One, her outfit is super different. We've got this floral type look here, but it looks very bohemian, I guess you could say, in a way. I think bohemian's the right word that I'm looking for, I think. But it looks very different. Very different. The contrast obviously between this and the rest of the outfit, because the rest of the outfit is quite bland, at least in terms of its color. I like how the pattern really spices it up, and it's one of the first things your eyes are drawn to. I have to say though, the first thing that my eyes are drawn to here when I look at this image though is her face, and I absolutely love the way her eyes and her lips catch your eyes. I love it. Like, you know, she's on pretty much like a perfect angle actually. I love the way that she's looking at the camera. It's very much like, you know, like what are you looking at? That type of vibe. And I do love the girl crush and bad girl vibes that she does once again exude in this photo as well. Once again though too, on top of that, I've said this before, I love the quality. I absolutely love the quality of this camera. I think it's absolutely freaking incredible. The eyeshadow that we have got here too makes her look so goddamn boss, and these earrings look really nice as well. Probably the only thing that I would change about this, just because we can kind of see like some dark spots here. If I wanted to be really nitpicky, I would say like maybe she should close her lips fully, or she should just open them up, because I love her model face. But then again, that's just me being really nitpicky. I love it either way. I think as well her hair up here too, like these really short braids with these clips on them too, look really freaking dope. And I love how her hair is like what's the word, quite messy, you know. It's quite messy. It's pulled back very almost hurriedly it looks. It's quite messy. You can see there's strands popping out everywhere and all of that type of stuff. It seems like, you know, she's on her way to do something really serious, or she's in a rush, like, you know, going to war, going to battle, something like that. Very similar to the way that Eve looked, but you've got two very different types of hairstyles that were obviously shown here. Like Eve is like very well manicured, very well taken care of here, and then the moment we get to Olivia, it's like, yeah, like I woke up like this. It's very hurried and very rushed, but I really like I guess you could say like the spunk that adds to this image. You don't really see too much of the backdrop here as well, but once again, we don't necessarily need to. I feel like this photo would be absolutely perfect on its own with just Olivia in it. Like if there was tons of just black negative space around it. I feel like her facial features are so striking and also her outfit's so unique that honestly, if this was just all black around her, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Once again though, I think that I'm getting really addicted to seeing that mist. I think I'm really starting to like the idea of seeing mist in all of these photos ever since we started seeing it on Yeojin's B version teaser as well. But anyway, that's just, once again, my taste. But I really enjoyed these photos and reviewing them again with you guys today. I really hope that perhaps maybe I've touched on something that, I don't know, maybe you guys might have noticed, or maybe you guys might not have noticed, or at least maybe framed things or phrased them in a different way to how you might have thought about them before. As far as chuu is concerned, if we do go back, I would definitely have to say that I think that scene 2 from chuu is probably my favorite. I think this is my favorite, purely just because it's so cute. The quality of this photo is impeccable, and the way that we can like just zoom in and see her absolutely beautiful eyes right here, I think is just, that's probably the winning point for me. I think that she looks absolutely adorable. She looks so goddamn soft and she looks amazing. But do definitely let me know what you guys thought of today's video down in the comments down below. Let me know what photos you like as well out of the ones that we have reviewed today too, the 12 photos that we've reviewed, because I would be really interested to hear what you guys have to say. But also on top of that as well, do make sure that if you enjoyed today's video and you would like to see more of it in future, or if you would like to see more of my LOONA reactions just in general, because I am a K-pop reactor, then do definitely go and check out the rest of the channel and go and subscribe to it too. Also on top of that, if you guys would like to see more of my personal work, go and check out my Instagram. I will obviously have it on screen for you guys here as well, but also go and check that down in the description below. But anyway, thank you so much once again for tuning in for officially the first episode of Idol Imagery, but the third installment in this series that we've done with LOONA for their pre-comeback teasers. I've really enjoyed doing this with you guys, and I'll be getting to the D version very, very soon. But until then, take care of yourselves out there, guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.